Who is Peter Tatchell exactly, and why was it controversial for the Minister for Children to welcome him to a Pride March? Are parents homophobic because they were shocked and upset about Tatchell's comments regarding sex with children? This is Ben Scallan and you're watching Gript Media. For days now, there has been a hurricane of controversy surrounding the newly appointed Minister for Children, Roderic O'Gorman, of the Green Party. After being appointed to the role, it was found that in 2018, O'Gorman had tweeted his support for UK gay rights campaigner Peter Tatchell. O'Gorman wrote, "Happy Pride! Delighted that Peter Tatchell is marching with the Green Party today." This is controversial as Peter Tatchell has a long record of saying seriously questionable things about sex with children. For example, in the following clip, Tatchell seems to imply that a boy who was sexually abused at 9 was capable of giving consent.
So take, for example, the very famous filmmaker, Roderic O'Gorman, who sadly has died. He told me when he was about 50 that he had had sex with a young man when he was 9 years old. He said it was his choice. He said he wasn't pressured or manipulated. He said he had no regrets about that sexual experience. So my view is, that's what he's saying. It's his personal view as an adult, mature man looking back on his childhood. If he says that, who am I or you to dispute it?
In 1997, Tatchell wrote a disturbing letter to The Guardian defending a book called Dares to Speak, which, to use Tatchell's words, challenges the assumption that all sex involving children and adults is abusive. He described the book as courageous and claimed that it offered a, quote, rational, informed perspective on sexual relations between younger and older people. He then wrote, "Several of my friends, gay and straight, male and female, had sex with adults from the ages of 9 to 13. None feel they were abused. All say that it was a conscious choice and gave them great joy. While it may be impossible to condone paedophilia, it is time society acknowledged the truth that not all sex involving children is unwanted, abusive and harmful." Most reasonable people would be disgusted and horrified by this claim. I shouldn't have to spell out that sex with children is always abusive and harmful. Tatchell now claims that the letter was edited, but he consistently neglects to mention what part was edited or deny that he said those things. Moreover, he has repeatedly and vigorously called to lower the age of consent to 14. He urges this in a Guardian article entitled, "Don't Criminalise Young Sex." He even wrote a glowing obituary in The Independent for the founder of the Paedophile Information Exchange, Ian Dunn. Paedophile Information Exchange was a pro-paedophilia group which campaigned to abolish the age of consent altogether. These are just a few of the outrageous scandals that this man has been involved in. Overall, Tatchell is an extremely questionable character, to put it mildly, and this is the man who Roderic O'Gorman, the new Minister for Children, was, quote, delighted to march with. Naturally, this caused an uproar among many people online who demanded an explanation from the new minister. But more than that, people questioned the complete media blackout on the issue. You'd swear it was radioactive and humming the way they skirted around it. But the reaction of politicians was even worse. Their response was almost uniformly, without exception, to accuse the concerned people of being alt-right, far-right bigots for raising legitimate concerns about the Minister for Children. I don't think I've ever heard the phrase faceless or anonymous trolls used so much in my life as a way to demonise and dismiss one's own people. First we had people like Green Party chairwoman and the new Lord Mayor of Dublin, Hazel Chu, who said, "I see trolls are out in force for my colleague Roderic O'Gorman, posting lies and creatively editing things that people have written to present as quote-unquote facts. Well, our new minister must be doing something right if these idiots are after him. Don't let bullying win. Report, report, report." Trolls, idiots and bullies. That is apparently what Chairman Chu thinks of Irish citizens who would dare to question a government minister's behaviour. It should also be noted that Hazel Chu and her party are strongly in favour of hate speech laws to clamp down on the Irish people's freedom of expression, and she is now asking her tens of thousands of followers to report, report, report anyone criticising her fellow party members. Spoken like a true authoritarian. We also had Green Party candidate teammate and executive member Tate Donnelly, who said, "The coordinated attack on Roderic O'Gorman over the last week or so has been one of the nastiest things I've seen in politics. Really vile and disgusting." To be clear, Tate, was this more or less nasty than when you got exposed by journalists for endorsing political violence and got caught trying to hand over the names of students to what you thought were Antifa thugs? After this, Fine Gael's Minister for Defence, Simon Coveney, weighed in on the issue. He said, "Try to ignore the faceless trolls with nasty agendas. They have unfortunately become a part of politics." Again, according to last count Coveney, parents who are concerned about their children's well-being are faceless trolls with nasty agendas. Labour Party Senator Rebecca Moynihan said, "You can rainbow yourself head to toe in June, but a real test of LGBTQ plus allyship is not falling for or sharing the clear homophobic dog whistling happening online about Roderic O'Gorman." Homophobic dog whistle. Nothing to see here, people. Although I'm not sure what else we'd expect from the Labour Party when one of their elected councillors, Pamela Kearns, insisted at an RSE meeting last year that babies masturbate for pleasure.
Councillor Kearns, please. Thank you.
Pamela Kearns here, and it'll come as no surprise she was a Labour Party councillor that I don't agree with pretty much everything that has been talked about here this evening. I'm a mother and I'm a parent. I'm also a preschool teacher. Babies do masturbate, by the way. It's a recognised fact.
Come on.
They don't know they're doing it. They don't know they're doing it. They just know they're touching themselves and they get pleasure from it. They don't call it masturbation.
So maybe we shouldn't take Labour's view on this issue too seriously. Eventually, Roderic O'Gorman himself released a statement that opened as follows. "This week, my hope was to focus on getting stuck into my new role as a minister. However, over the last few days, there have been claims made online about me which I cannot allow to stand uncorrected. The accusations are rooted in homophobia stoked by anonymous far-right Twitter accounts. These accounts are using manipulation for their own ends, playing upon the genuine, deeply held concern we all share for child protection." What is homophobic and far-right about asking the Minister for Children to condemn paedophilia? Why is that controversial or wrong? And more importantly, while all this is going on, where is Mary Lou McDonald and Sinn Féin? Why wouldn't the so-called opposition party, the Party of Change, take this as a chance to expose the government as unfit? Is it because maybe they have repeatedly had associations with Peter Tatchell themselves over the years as a party and they know not to throw stones in a glass house? Or maybe it's because they're afraid of their own radical wing, which has said that children under 16 should be allowed to take their parents to court to change their gender. Who knows? It's a mystery. We have calls from academics like NUIG's Kate Dawson to introduce porn literacy in schools to remove the stigma. We have government parties calling for kids to be able to change their gender on their official passport. We have sexually explicit drag groups like Glitterhole doing story time for kids in Dunleary. And throughout it all, the media is either silent or actively hostile to the people trying to express concern about these things, insinuating that they're homophobes or bad people. Here's what Matt Cooper had to say about the matter on Today FM.
Yesterday, our new Minister for Children, Roderic O'Gorman, decided to issue a statement as a result of considerable abuse that he has been receiving online over the last week. He said there was a definite homophobic element to the abuse that he was receiving, and that his predecessor in the job as Minister for Children, Catherine Zappone, had also been subjected to for being gay and because she didn't have children. His comment was, "It's an attempt by the far right to silence people from minorities and to suppress difference."
Cooper then went on to interview Peter Tatchell and allow him to deny the significance of the words that he had written to The Guardian. It was a very concerning interview, to say the least. There was something deeply disturbing going on with the political and media elites in this country. Children's innocence should not be negotiable, and nobody should be written off as far-right or homophobic for expressing concern when this is who the Minister for Children chooses to associate with. If you like this commentary and you want to see more like it, please be sure to share this video and let us know how you feel in the comments below. Thanks for watching.